Well, it's been a long time since I've done any blogs, vlogs, anything like that, and it's about time I did the Selkie really, and I've been putting it off for a long time. And there was an aborted attempt to make two different Selkie themed movies. One was based on a trip I did around West Cornwall in 2019, which actually inspired the whole thing, where I was staying in I rented a holiday flat for 3 days in a place called Gwithian, and I was improvising on my guitar, and I improvised this little tune, the lyrics, everything, and that song was Wolf Rock, and that's what you hear on the EP is the literal recording of that, which I basically just compressed and put a bit of reverb on it and tidied it up. It's the literal acoustic demo which I recorded there and then on a phone camera, and I kept it that way because the feel of it was spot on, and that inspired the whole EP. And it was right before the very first COVID wave, so the very first lockdown. I did this whole project as a way to keep myself going, really, as a way to keep myself sane. And I even made a little video with each segment being like a video holiday diary of all the places I went to in West Cornwall at the time, and I sort of drove back to all my favourite places on the way back, and it was weird. It was almost like, looking back, I knew I wasn't going to be out for a while. And these songs have stuck with me. It's been a while since I've listened to it. I'm not really going to listen to it properly, but we're going to go through it. I mean, even the cover is from the same trip. It's where I went to Marazine, I went to St Michael's Mount, and I took the picture of the dolphin statues, and I edited it a little bit, and it's that's actually the cover. So here's On the Shore. I still like the way I'm still really happy with the way I made the guitars come across, and with this one I've tried to do something different. Prior to this, I've gone through some very dense concept ideas like Dream After Dream, which I'm still proud of as a piece of art, but this time around I wanted to keep the songs basic, so I kept them more or less the same as how I'd written them. And I still play this now. I played this in West Loon, Mayfair. This is one of the opening ones I did. On the shore, someone said to me, "Is that a real drum sound there that's going on?" I just put a little bit of editing on it where there's a delay in it that's quite quiet, and it makes the snare sound like there's quite a bit of bounce on it. But it made it sound, whatever I've done to compress it, makes it sound more like a proper kit. It is an electronic drum kit. And I love this song because to me it's universal like that. Even though the whole EP is a concept idea, and it was also influenced by that trip, and it also kind of nostalgia at the time of looking back to something simple and I could ground myself in, like when going back way to when I did Mouse Escapes, when I was not having a great time and I wanted to ground myself in some simple ideas. So it's in a pretty funky tune, and it's like a G A D F A E. When I played it live, I did D A D G A E, which is like the tuning I use for the Stalker. It's got some nice shapes. When I write in alternate tunings, I don't think too much about this, what the chords are doing and music theory and etc. I'm just flowing with ideas. And it's one of the things that attracted me to alternate tunings originally, was that you're not bound by conscious knowledge, and you can just innocently play around with shapes, and it breaks down that little bit of ego element, or where you're trying to force music. So it's a workaround, but I also like the way that alternate tunings resonate in when you hit the strings and you hit different open strings, and the way you have to play them differently. There's some context to that as well. It's when right around this time, literally, was when my niece was born. So there's some nostalgia in the song, looking back, and it's about growing older and looking back at the young ones as they grow, and remembering your own youth, kicking around your favourite toy, and it works outside of the concept album. Gwithian's Red River was the Red River Inn was an inn I was right near the flat I was staying in, and Gwithian's has a river running through it, and it's called the Red River because of the iron ore from the mining that they used to do up from Gwithian. It's a beautiful little part of West Cornwall. The Hale Beach in Gwithian Sands. It says, maybe, I think I might be wrong, but it's about 6 miles of golden sands. And then if you're on one side, you're looking over the Hale Estuary, you're looking at St Ives Bay, where you can clearly see St Ives, and you can see Zenna Hill in the background. And that's a nice, beautiful little drive as well. If you go up there and drive through Zenna, it's almost like going up at Dartmoor, or even like going somewhere like Scotland. The context of the song. So the story's a bit jangled, really, but basically the character on the shore is reminiscent of the past. So it almost starts at the end. Gwithian's Red River is a reference to the Selkie that turns into a female in it, called Chloe. Wolf Rock is when the character gets rescued at Wolf Rock off West Cornwall. It's a fast and loose idea, but it worked, and it felt great when I did it. It really energised me. And some interesting tuning ideas and whacking like capo, and it was like getting back to my roots and basics. Let's go for Gwithian's Red River.
The river was a blood color from the mine world.
There's even some violin in this little EP, which I tried to get a bit of violin, get back into some violin playing under my belt during that first lockdown. It's a weird thing to mix. It's very sharp violin. You have to play it quite consciously, otherwise it sounds very out of tune. I'm still quite happy with my vocal on that. There's some mandolin on there with the mandolin's got a capo on it. I don't even remember how to play it, the mandolin part. With that open chord with the capo on, it's like trying to capture it with a chord that feels like it's neither minor nor major. It's some sort of, but then with the mandolin playing the minor notes. Chloe was a barmaid at the Red River Inn that we sort of connected one night, and I went in there a couple of times, and she asked me to go and meet her in the gallery she was working in, and I was so hungover the next day. It was somewhere just down from Marazion, and I was so hungover the next day that I also felt kind of nervous. So I bailed, but there was something powerful in that moment that touched me, because up until that point I felt like it was right before the lockdown, so it's kind of a bit of a nostalgia element looking back at these sort of things, because at that time, you know, you weren't going out and seeing anybody, etc. What we got now? Wolf Rock, the actual track that started everything. Now I'm recording this, and it's the 10th of June. And I'm at home, the cart house, and it's very unusual for me to be here, as I'm mostly living with my girlfriend Louie, or sleeping on an airbed in the pub that we're both managing. It's a really weird thing, because I used to live in Dobwalls, opposite from the pub, the home, and in a weird circuitous way I've ended up back in Dobwalls, but instead of living opposite the pub, I'm going to be living in the pub, and I'm at this point where I'm just trying to get myself moved in. I've just had this really mad summer thunderstorm outside with heavy rain. It was beautiful to listen to. A lot's happened in in that 3 year period. Like when I was writing this, I was working in a pub, the Copley Arms, and it went into furlough. I was lucky enough to be one of the people that was working at the time, and managed to get furlough. And I lived somewhere at the time, the cart house, in the middle of the countryside, and that first lockdown was beautiful weather, and I could go for walks in the countryside around here, not see a soul, work on music, and I made the best of the time. After the second lockdown, I went back, and they were training me up as a bar manager just before then, and I went in, and the guy I was working for, the landlord of the pub, had got really ill, so it was really weird. So I remember him being a really strong guy, almost like a father figure to me, and then coming back to clean the lines, and I saw him, and he was all shriveled up, man. And then last year in September, he unfortunately passed away, and I was a pallbearer at his funeral, and all these events around that time, with like meeting Louie, and they all inspired Emerald Stars, which is an album I'm going to be working on when I've got the time to work on it. I'll finish that. I've gone through this like period of life where I was like self-examining, and I've gone through this healing journey, and I was trying to unpack all that had happened to me, like Reiki and all these different things, and this Reiki awakening, this energy awakening of things. And so everything that I've ever done, it always holds true to me, and it always feels like I'm being honest with my soul, and that there's a definite element of true self-expression. And this feels no different to me, and it's nice to hear the original song. I mean, I'm talking all the way over it, but
your face again.
I've got a scepter. Every one of these songs is in a unique tuning, I believe. I like this. I like all of them. It's a reference to as Poseidon holds the scepter.
The center, waves roll out like thunder. A heart calls out to nothing. Where we went
violin playing and mandolin.
Sang too many love songs. Our kisses weren't strong enough, and our tears dried down whiskey lines.
So this is almost like goodbye to the woman, the Selkie, as she goes back to the sea. There's some Selkie mythology I missed out actually in this story, but it's a very loose framework. But this feels like quite emotionally powerful to me. I think a lot of that is not being able to go to the places you love as well and expressing that. The fathoms where we went wrong, sang too many love songs.
Our kisses weren't strong enough, and our tears dried down whiskey lines.
Quite refreshing to listen to these songs. I always like going away. Like the original Selkie film, like I said, was a video, almost like a travel blog. But I felt like it just didn't feel right. I wasn't happy with it, and I'm glad it was a project that I was able to keep myself busy with. But it didn't work really. I tried to do something else with it, and I was toying with this idea of getting a female vocalist or just some talking parts to fill out the story elements and then make that into something as well. But in the end, I'll probably just go for... I've done some... On the shore, I've done a lyric video based on a trip I took to Dorset when I went to Charmouth, Lyme Regis and all that area. I think that looks quite nice, so I'm probably going for some simple stuff like that. Here's the track, the Selkie itself. It's just where you pluck in the violin. I've looped some violin elements where you just plucking the strings and then just doing a drone note and got some vocal sample loops, and then the beat is it's got like an EQ crusher, bit crusher type thing on it. It's almost sounded like half decent violin playing. I'll leave you with this a second. I'm back. Did you miss me? I mean, it's weird for me to do that, right? Because this is the vlog, but these things are always improv and ad hoc, and I've always got to have a few beers to just get me going. And it's really humid, so that one was from the freezer, you know? And it's like some kind of cheap, strong export. This bit I like. Flippers forming, to Selkie once more. and flippers forming.
The king transformed to Selkie
And flippers forming. When I was 18, my dad got it for me for my birthday, and I was like, wow, I love the sound of violin. I was thinking, well, it's fretted. I've never even played a violin. Yeah, I should be able to get my head around it. Man, it's such a difficult instrument to learn, even if you have the root fundamental basics of music ideas, of theory, practical theory, or music. You can play an instrument because it's a whole different ball game with a stringed, fretless, bowed instrument. But I do love playing it. It resonates through your whole heart space, and it's just a beautiful experience to play, but also a really bad experience when you're trying to learn. You've got a real patience because everything you play when you first start to learn just sounds bloody god awful. But it pays off. I mean, I've never changed the strings on that bloody violin since I've had it. Let's go for the last one. Turning Tides. 3/4. A lot of these staple sounds that you might have heard me use in other recordings they're actually freeware. One is a couple of Chinese traditional instruments, and there's some really great freeware organs out there for your VST instruments. I don't think I consciously wrote this in a jumbled order, but definitely it just kind of came out of me super quick, maybe. And I was just so enjoying it. I didn't really stop to think that maybe I need to elaborate on the story perhaps a little bit, or make it. But I actually like the fact that it's kind of jumbled up, you know. These songs, I mean, if you don't have them at hand and you don't play them for a while, and they're in weird tunings, you're never going to really learn them. So I've tried to keep everything. I've tried to notate all the guitar stuff I do and write down the melodies, because just recording them is not going to be enough to go back and learn them. I went through a phase of not even every time you stop and you're doing something else in life, getting back into it, it's like turning a great big crank. I mean, it takes ages to get going. Oh, and then you go, oh, eureka! But it's all about passion, really. If you're into it and you want these songs to live on through you and be a part of your life, and to share them and the experience that they gave you, is important, I guess, to respect them. feel like it's interesting and important for me to put some of these things into context, but also like as life has changed for me, you know, like such a genuine longing for me then for like a genuine romantic connection and passion. And even though I had experiences in the past and stuff, I went through for a dry patch of, like, I guess you would say, I had some really, really horrendous, ridiculous, hilarious bad dates, which was just like a run of bad luck, I guess you would say. But it was really 2018 to 2022 of nothing really, and being on the other side of that with someone in my life who's genuinely lovely and really supportive, being able to like look back at all that longing and have some kind of expression for all that loneliness as well. Like, it's nice I can appreciate all different sides of myself and appreciate how lucky I am in life to have somebody in my world and my life that's so supportive and kind to me. So it's been really ad hoc and weird, this video, but I've really enjoyed it. I always enjoy looking back in a way, and I'm quite one for cataloguing things. Like, I always take loads of pictures and stash them, and I like to look back at them, and I like to do that because I want to appreciate all the good times. I don't want to be stuck in my mind in the current, whatever I'm going through currently that's mulling over. I want to realise that I spread my wings in different ways and had different experiences, which was also my choice, but my blessing as well, that I was lucky enough to have those experiences and share them. And in a way, like, that's music as well, isn't it? And I'm really glad that I was able to do that with the Selkie, because On the Shore to date is my most successful streamed song, and the Selkie is my most successful EP, even though I've been doing music, my own music online since Giant Shadow, which is way back when in, let me have a quick look, 2005. So I stopped working in a band and did my own thing since 2005. So all these things, like, they all mean a lot. They all mean a lot to me. And I still play some really old songs. Some things don't resonate with me now, but I think that's just part of getting older. But some things that stuck with me all these years, and I still play them. Like the Daisy Dresses riff that I wrote when I was like, well, I must have been 17, 18, 16. I can't even remember, but I wrote it when I ducked into it. I was walking back from college with just my acoustic guitar, no case, no coat, and it started hammering it down, and I walked along the side of the road into a field where they knew there was this dip, a dell, and lots of trees. So I went in there with my guitar and I played that riff. Oh, and I think that's right. And I looked out at the rain and I was playing that riff. Or I think that's the impetus of that riff. It was such a long impetus. I think that's it. That's where that come from. But it's been such a long time ago. I've also got another memory of being in the same place at night. But anyway, thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching this. Anybody that does watch it, there's some. Eventually, I'll get round to doing Emerald Stars. My plan is to do a couple of singles from Emerald Stars, which is going to be Hidden Histories. I'm going to do Hidden Histories and 2 B-sides. And I'm probably going to do Oh, let me think. The Three Hairs. Yeah, I look forward to actually getting some creative work done at some point. So thanks a lot. Thanks to everybody who support me over the years. Thanks to all the awesome friendships I've made through music. All the people that supported my music. My lovely girlfriend. Some of my long-term beautiful friends that stayed by me, and some of the people I've met in the past few years who've really supported me. And the people that keep randomly finding my music. So I don't feel that if you just make music on your own and you're not, able to throw loads of money into it, don't give up. But just see it as a way to express whatever message you have and whatever stream of consciousness element of the song that you believed in enough to record and keep. And just keep going, keep writing, keep working on ideas, and keep trying original things, and never, ever, ever, ever give up, ever. Thank you, guys.